Hi friends, and welcome back to AmandaMuse. So today I'm coming at you with a chatty video. I had a couple questions and I thought I would just take one of those questions and run with it because I have a lot to say about it. And that topic today is how the kids are adjusting to being back in Canada and what that's like, and just some challenges and pros and cons and blah blah blah. Okay? So just to back up for a moment, if you're new to my channel, then we are in Canada. We have been living in Malaysia for the past 4.5 years and recently have decided that we're going to make a change and we're going to come back to Canada just for a short time, maybe not, I don't know. We're in the midst of deciding on where we would like to take our next job and if that's going to be in Canada or back overseas, but we decided to take that downtime and spend it with our family here in Canada, being that it's the holidays. Have I said in Canada enough times? Because it feels like it. So we've been back just shy of 2 months and we've experienced some pains of just uprooting the kids and feeling unsettled, but we've also experienced a lot of happy things. And so I think what I'll do is I'll highlight the cons first, or the challenges, and then I'll go into some of the positives that we have experienced as a family. My kids are 3 years and 9 months, so Esme just turned 3 last weekend, and I think that there are just challenges when you travel with a 3-year-old, a very strong-willed 3-year-old, I might add. We are experiencing the land of no, I don't want to, all of that stuff, right? Like, she really has her own agenda. So with that in mind, one of the first things that we experienced in terms of just discomfort was sleeping. The sleep situation was totally messed up. One of the things though that really became apparent is that she was very unsettled in terms of her nighttime routine. We maintained the same routine, so we'd have dinner, then a bath, then story time and winding down and bedtime. So that's always been the routine, and we maintained that even when we were traveling in hotels. And basically our hotel would be like on shutdown from 8 p.m. onwards. It was dark and quiet, We thought, okay, well, we're back here with grandma and grandpa kind of thing. And I didn't anticipate this, to be honest. We experienced a lot of night terrors for like a month, like screaming uncontrollably for like, I don't know, maybe like 2 to 3 minutes. That's a long time. It doesn't sound like a long time, but just sit here now and scream for 2 minutes and count it for, like, it's a long time. Now, she had her own room in Malaysia, and then of course when we left Malaysia and started traveling, we went back into co-sleeping. So if there were 2 beds, I'd be with Jack and Dean would be with Esme. If there was a bigger bed, maybe I'd be with both kids. Like, it really was just dependent on where we were. Here in Canada, we have 2 rooms. Dean is with Esme and I'm with Jack. And now it's fine, but I would say it's only been fine for the last 2 weeks or so. So for the first month, it was just screaming every night. Like, we could get her to sleep, kind of, and then she would wake up screaming like 3 times a night, kicking, punching, the whole thing. And it was really hard. And my husband was really tired. And of course I'm tired because I'm with Jack, who, by the way, Jack's easy. He just maintains his regular routine wherever we are because he's a co-sleeping breastfed baby, and like, it doesn't matter as long as there's me, he's fine. If you have a child who've ever experienced night terrors, then you know it's exhausting. And it's just really unsettling. Like, you just feel so bad because you're thinking, what's the trigger? How can I stop this? And I really didn't think it would stop. And actually, it just dawned on me yesterday, it stopped. Like, she hasn't screamed like that for 2 weeks. I think it was just a lot of new people, meeting a lot of family, a lot of different environments. It's difficult. It's difficult on children. It's difficult on adults. So of course it's going to be difficult on a toddler. I just didn't anticipate the sleeping issue. So that was a big one. The other downside, I guess, that has affected the entire family is that we're not in our own space. So we are living with our in-laws, and I say living, it's visiting. We're in this like interim phase. We don't have our own house in Canada, and so when we come back, it's far more cost effective to stay with people like family, of course, not just random strangers. That would be weird. Fortunately for us, our in-laws have a very accommodating home. We have our own rooms and our own areas and our own bathroom and the whole thing. But of course we do share the living areas, and that's great. We've seemed to make it work. We're not really in each other's space. That's good, but it's weird not to have your own space. And I think like anybody, you kind of need that time just to yourself to wind down to the whole thing. I did find that really, really hard at first because you kind of feel like you're constantly visiting, and that can be really exhausting, especially when you're jet lagged, and then on top of just kind of feeling like you're uprooted and unsettled, because it's not kind of, you are, we left our home. Even though Malaysia is not where we were born, we embraced it and became our home. So that was really hard for me. I just kind of in my mind say to myself, this isn't permanent, this is just a temporary thing, and that we will eventually be set up in our own place wherever that may be, if that's here in Canada or if it's abroad, and that, you know, it's just a short period of time. And I suppose the big doozy is the adjustment of, you know, going from a very independent lifestyle with my friends and my own routines, and the weather was really accommodating in terms of just activity outside, and it was just really easy to do stuff. It's always really easy to do stuff in warm weather, but I never really knew that till now I'm back here in cold weather, and the struggle of getting the kids into their winter wear and into the car, and then from the car to wherever we're going. And really miss my friends back home. Did I say that 4 times already? But I really do. And what I feel like right now is I'm going through this period where it's not like I don't want to keep in contact with my friends, but I just find it really hard on me emotionally to like keep up with my friends. I don't know, I just feel really depleted, and I feel like I almost need to like give myself a grace period. And then once I start feeling better and I have more of an idea of our next plans, then I can feel like, okay, I've given myself time to grieve the fact that I've left everything that I've known and been comfortable with for so long, and I'm in a whole new different environment, and you kind of need that time just to grieve, I guess. Like, change is big, and I think I've maintained a real positive attitude throughout, and I'm still very positive, but I also have to acknowledge that it's sad. I'm getting really emotional even just thinking about it. My voice is like really low, I feel like, because it's a really hard time. And you know, the expat experience, when you leave your home country and you go to a different country, there's this little roller coaster that you go on, like a love-hate relationship. And when you come back, there's that same experience that you have like in reverse, because Canada isn't what I would say is my home right now. I feel out of place. I don't really feel like I belong. When I get together with people, like I did meet some people and they're really, really kind, but I feel like an alien because the experiences that I've had are very different to many people who are here. And it doesn't mean that I'm any better or they're better or whatever. It's just different. When they're sharing their experiences about their fears perhaps of driving downtown Calgary, and here I was like on a tuk-tuk in Thailand, like breastfeeding, it's just 2 different worlds. And so I find it a little bit difficult actually to relate to people. I guess it comes back to having this grace period where it's like, I know it won't forever be like this. Like if we decide to stay in Canada, I'm not always gonna feel like this, you know. I'll start to reintegrate back into society, if you will. Things will get easier for me, but right now my experiences are just really different, so I feel like I really have to tone it down when I talk to people. And I don't know, that might sound really weird to someone who hasn't really done this expat thing, but it's almost like you can't explain to someone else what your life was like, what your experiences were like, because they're unique to you. And it's very exhausting to even try to explain how cool your life was or how different it was. It's like that person that kind of has to experience it for themselves. And so it's very comforting to me when I meet someone who's traveled or who leads the same life as me, like the friends I made in Penang, for example. I know that these are lifelong friends because you have so much in common. And the other side of it is none of you are afraid to travel, so the world becomes small in a way. Like, I know that there's certain friends where when our kids get a little bit older, it's like, hey, do you want to meet up in Spain, or do you want to meet up in Greece, or do you want to go to Thailand for a week? At the beginning of this video, I thought I would really talk about my challenges with the kids, but at the end of the day, it's like a family unit that experiences all this change. And I think mom is like the focal point of a family sometimes, and her mood can affect that of the family. And so I'm just really conscious of the fact that I'm having a difficult time with being back, and I'm trying not to let it affect my family, and I'm trying to maintain my regular routines. So YouTube has actually been a blessing for me because it's really keeping me focused on something, and also with the vlogs keeping me focused on the positive side of these experiences, because, you know, life happens every day, and it's not like you can wait until you're in the perfect city or you're in your perfect house or your kids are at a perfect age, because even when you're at that perfect place, it's just for an instant. Like, life passes and it happens, so you have to find the good in each moment. I find that doing those weekly vlogs and making these videos and sharing my life with you is helping me actually through this difficult time. So it's just interesting, you know, life is really interesting right now. So those are just some of the challenges Okay, now let's lighten the mood a little bit. So let's talk about some of the amazing things that the kids have experienced now that they're back, and me. Family, huge, awesome, amazing. Esme knows who Baba and Papa is. She knows who her grandma is. She knows who her grandpa is because she got 2 grandpas. Well, she has 3 because Papa's a grandpa. But she knows who her family members are now, and you know, she knows who her aunties and her uncles, and she's met cousins, and she's played in the snow, and she has a ballet class. Like, you guys, tomorrow we get to go watch her dance at her ballet recital. It's like a ballet recital the parents get to watch. She's 3. It's not exactly gonna be an insane show, but I am so excited, do you know what I mean? So that is amazing, and it's also just delightful to be back in a well-functioning city. And I just mean that in terms of, like, I don't know, you can get everything. You can do drive-through ATMs, every restaurant you want, every type of food you want. The other day I just had, like, I don't know, half an hour to myself, and I just walked around the grocery store and just looked at all the things in the aisles, and I saw weird stuff like eggnog ice cream and pumpkin pie ice cream, like, what? And all of these different things, and the deli counters and the steaks. Oh my god, you guys, I've eaten so much good steak. I'm in Alberta, like, that is what you do, you know? And it's just such good food, and so yeah, all of that stuff has been really cool. And definitely the last thing, I mean, you guys, I love the weather. It tends to be really effing cold a lot of the time, but Lethbridge is really cool. It gets these warm wind Chinooks, and it's like spring 9 times a year. I'm totally into that. So I'm really loving this cool weather. Like, I am not really a hot weather person. I like the ease of life, but Malaysia was like a little too hot for me. I don't know what perfect heat would be for me, but that was a little too hot. Those are just some of the things that we've been experiencing now that we're back. You know, we've been back for what, just 2 months. So I think we're pretty much, I think, on schedule in terms of the emotions that we've been experiencing. I mean, we sometimes get really bored because we don't really know what our routine is anymore. And it's like, we're living in a house with all these retired people. Like, I feel like I'm retired, you know, and it's weird because my husband's home because he's not working right now. So it's like a permanent weekend. For moms out there, you know how it is. When your husband's home, I mean, it's so hard to get shit done. Like, I don't know what I'm doing with my days. They just, and they're gone. So it's a weird time, and it's the holidays, and I can't stop eating. There's a lot going on, okay? So I hope that gives you a little bit more insight into, like, what life is like at the moment. If you have any questions, and maybe I didn't tap into everything, if you're kind of going through a similar life thing, or maybe you've been here, done that, and you have some advice to offer, leave me some comments below. I really appreciate that. I just love hearing from you guys and your experiences and how they are different or similar to mine. And that's it. So I hope to see you guys in my next video. Please stick around and subscribe, and all my social media links are below. And that's it. So keep it real, my friends. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.